Well, welcome today, Dr. Satya Mitra from Tax Guru here in Worcester. I am so excited about this episode for a couple of reasons. The first is that we are relaunching the American Dream podcast here, not just for Worcester, but for all of central Massachusetts. And it's been a while since we've had an episode, but looking at that scenario, I have you today. And you are, sir, the epitome of what I call the American Dream, or what we call the American Dream. And I'm really excited to hear your story and hear the idea of reaching that pinnacle in business. And what I think is really interesting is your driven nature to want to give back to the community.
Well, thank you, Tom. And, it's really special for me to be here with you and, join you in this podcast, which is, I think you said, is the reviving it. And I'm the first one to get into this. So that's quite a privilege for me. And, American Dream is just not a saying. It's the truth. People come from all over the world here to achieve their dreams. And certainly I would say that I came here with different thoughts in my mind, but things change. Sometimes I believe in destiny, but the dream, it just rises. And I'm so happy that I came here and achieved many things that I've never probably thought of.
When I first came to Worcester, I was intrigued by the contrast and the diversity that this city has. And it's all driven by people. Mm. And I teach all the time, and I say that all business is about people. So you really need to get to know how to communicate and connect with others. But what I find interesting about Worcester and learning at it is that 27% of our economy today in Greater Worcester is driven by people that weren't born in the United States. Mm-hmm. They're driven by people that were born elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And when we look at that scenario, you fall into that category as well. Tell us about your start, how you came to the United States.
Yes, everybody comes to the United States to achieve. That's the primary reason. I'll get more education, I'll do some work here that will earn me money. And in many people's mind, it stays that I'll go back someday to my own country and help my country's projects and people there. We see a lot of athletes here, those who come here, make good money, but also help the country of their origin. So I think everybody comes here to achieve something. That's the primary thing that everyone comes here for. Because a country like I came from India, it is yet to be well developed. But when I came 48 years back, it was a very different country. Now India is different. But coming here, in my case, was really never my bucket list, to go to America because of the financial situation, because of the adversity that we had in my childhood. And my mother passed away at a very young age when I was 3. My father and I were the only two at home. My brother and sister, they were quite older to me. My brother was 14 years older, sister 12 years older. And my sister got married at a very young age of only 14. And my brother used to live with a family that my mother at her deathbed requested them to take care of him. So it was me and my dad at home. And my dad started getting ill, slowly lost his vision, became blind. So America was not my dream. But, as I was telling you, Tom, that sometimes it is destiny. Sometimes you don't know where Almighty is driving a path for you. And I suggest to everybody that if it comes on your way, don't ignore it. You just don't know what that might lead you into, because that's something that somebody is creating for you. So don't ignore, think that this is something I got to go and take and see where it leads me. And that's how I came to America. Never thought that I will be here. I came to America because, many of my institution students, senior to me, they all do PhDs from there was an institute's name is Central Drug Research Institute in India, in a place in northern side, Lucknow is the name of the city. Everyone who graduates from there, they all come to America because our mentors, our professors were all here. So there were connections. So they all come here with the recommendation of the professors. And I never wanted to because I wanted to be with my dad, who was blind, who was paralyzed. So that was my goal. But one day I just got a letter in my mailbox, which wasn't mine, but I opened it, not realizing it was not my letter, but that was an appointment letter of a senior students of the university, of the institution. But I opened it. And
Here in the United States?
No, it was in India.
In
when
India.
I received that, I went and took that letter to my professor and said, this is not mine. It was in my mailbox by mistake. I opened it. So it belongs to someone by the name of Ashok, and he was already here. So my professor said, why don't you try? I'll write to them that you can also go.
And at that time, you had no interest in coming
I
to
had
the
no
States.
interest. My work wasn't done, completed. I said, I haven't finished my job, my Ph.D. yet. My work is still on. He said, submit me what you have done so far. Let me see. Then he saw it and he said he wanted me to do a couple of more experiments. He wrote to the board of the university to allow me to present a presentation of my work and see if this is good enough to submit for the PhD degree. And I did that and they approved it. But I kept telling him that, Professor, I don't think I want to go because I have my dad that I have to take care. He said, well, try, talk to your dad. So I went and talked to my dad. My dad said, you got to go. Don't worry about me. Go. But, I came here, had no money. I don't know how to really buy tickets or anything. But then got my interview with the Consul General of America in Delhi, and then walked into one of the travel agents' office to find out that how much it costs to go to America. I've never flown in my life. I've always taken the train or bike or, that's kind of buses. Those were the conveyance that we have always traveled. So he looked at me, the travel agent, and said that, who is going? I said, well, I'm going from Delhi to New York to Louisville, Kentucky. I got a chance to do my postdoctoral fellowship in the medical school. But I don't have money, but I want to find out how much it costs to go. I looked at me for a few minutes and he says, you are going, I'll buy tickets for you. And you'll go, you do your studies, and then one day when you have money, you can write the check of the travel, of the airfare to my brother-in-law who lives in New Jersey. I mean, that person not only bought ticket, but I still think he instilled in me the concept of paying forward. And that was huge. That I left India, I think I left with that takeaway that if I go to America and do well, and God graces me someday some opportunity, I'd always see if I could pay forward for some others. That's how I got here.
Well, that's a wonderful story. There's a couple of interesting things to me on that is when you talk about paths, our paths, and, God will light our paths, and I believe that strongly. And in this case, it sounds like he did that for you, and it brings you to the United States.
Yeah.
When you came here, did you have a path open up for you?
Well, when I came here as a postdoctoral fellow to do biomedical research in the OB/GYN department of medical school in Louisville, Kentucky. I was there doing my postdoctoral fellowship. And then after I finished that, I got a faculty position. But, I wanted to get into the corporate world. So I started giving interviews, different places. But what happened after I arrived here, a year after that, my father passed away. So all my dreams were shattered, to go back. The whole purpose, I was determined to go back, to serve, be with my dad.
So you came here to gain more education and experience, and we're going to go back to India.
And go back to India. And I told my dad, I'll be back, I'll be with you. And he said, no matter what, you go. He wanted me to. He was a teacher, school teacher. He was high on education. You should go. I was the first one in my family to visit abroad, outside India, and no one has done it before from my family. So he said, it's an honor, you should go. So, but he passed away a year after because he wasn't doing well. But
let's talk about that for just a moment, though. Now, you and I have talked, we both have children, and you talked finally of your sons. Mm-hmm. But at that moment when your dad sent you away, he was letting go, and he was doing that out of love.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking my future. He was saying that, you come back and then we can be together, but it's only 3 years. I had the visa for 3 years to come as an exchange visitor. So I said, well, I'll learn more about my education, my science, and come back and get a job here and keep my dad with me and serve him. But that was the idea. But then he passed away. Then my professor, who I was working with, said, "Look, what's your plan now? I would like you to stay here. I'll apply for your green card and permanent residency." And I looked at it at that point that, yeah, I mean, my main purpose of going wasn't there anymore. So I stayed here. But then, as I said, Tom, life has taken a very different turn in my entire life so far. Everything seemed like divinely orchestrated. Then I wanted to move into corporate world, and I got a job in Worcester, in then known as EGNG Mason Research Institute on 57 Union Street, and that's where I was employed as a scientist.
That was on Union Street in...
Right next to Maxwell Silverman's, where the restaurant is there, right where they had, where now they have the hotel, and they used to have an old hotel where now they have the pharmacy college building there, part of it.
That was about the time the industry was starting to wane in Worcester.
Yeah,
go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the industries were down. I'm talking about 82 when I came here. 1976, I came to this country. That was the bicentennial year. And 82, I finished my postdoc, and I got a job here in that pharmaceutical company and started working there from 82.
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm also a Kentucky boy.
Oh, really?
And I'm real curious. What was your take on Kentucky?
Oh, a lot different than what we have in New England. That's what changed my life, after coming here. Kentucky is a very laid-back, social. It's the South, it's very different. There's so much connection with people. We go to lab and then we chat more things, different things. Here you come and it's just work. It's like business. Everything is business here. So, and only here people are trying to find out always how to make money, what to do, that I can buy stock and buy 3-acre. They enticed me when I came in here, all my friends said, "Hey, join us as a partner, invest some money, we'll do all these things." Kentucky, I say always, the only time you make money is when you play on your horse in Kentucky Derby. That's the only time you can make some money.
Yeah, well, there's some people there that
beautiful, bluegrass state and lovely place.
Lovely place. Yeah. Some people might agree with that assessment. When I came here and looked at Worcester and all of New England, the first thing I noticed was the diversity that we had. And
in here.
Yeah. When I first landed at Logan, I thought I was at Epcot Center. I think I heard 7 languages in the first 5 minutes, and it was interesting to me. But you look at that, and that is one of the strengths that are here, but it goes back to what you were saying, that people are looking to find some version of their success.
Yeah, and it's a very blessed city to see so many people. And now I think we have all of a sudden a surge of so many other foreigners are here, the Brazilian, the Ghana people. So it's like all of a sudden, I think it was the second largest number of growth in the country in Worcester. So it's really privileging situation for us to have so many different ethnicity, different traditions. But it is together. You see, we have so many different, India Day, then we have Brazilian Day, we have everything, and people go to support each other. So I love the philosophy that Worcester has. We're always welcoming. I work with the city hall very closely, with the mayor, with the manager, and I found it that it's a city which accepts everyone. It's a city which just gives you the warm welcome, so sanctuary city. So I think I love to be in Worcester. This is what everything happened to us.
Well, we're definitely known for the restaurants when you've lived here for a while. And I will compare our restaurants in Greater Worcester to anything that Boston has to offer.
Right now, yeah.
But we look at that. What's your favorite restaurant in the city?
Well, Sole Proprietor is one of my most favorite restaurants.
It's definitely iconic for us, and a lot of people.
I was reading about it, why it's called the Sole Proprietor. I used to think it is because the name of the fish, sole fish, probably. But when I dug into it, it is because the owners have always been. They're never incorporated. They were never LLC. They're never partnership. They are sole proprietors.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and I saw that. I said, well, that makes sense. No, and now recently it was bought by some other owner. He's also kept it as a sole proprietor.
That's very nice to know. Now they have a few different restaurants in town, but you notice that chain restaurants don't typically do well here because they're not supported
Yeah.
by the local community as much. Now you've been here for a long time. How friendly, from your perspective, is Greater Worcester or the city of Worcester for small business?
I think it needs to be more. I think it is friendly enough for the great business owner, but we know that there are certain things that probably needs to be done from my perspective as I see, and that's why I like to see that I want to be more involved with the city's philosophy and policies. But I think business owners come here, but we see they don't stay here. We see them leaving because of the difficulties that I, as a business owner, can say that, I live here, so things are a little bit easier for me. But if I have to have a client coming from a different state to see me, to do business with me, he has to land in Logan or he has to land in Providence. We still don't have, we're the second largest city. We don't have an iconic or known airport. We are struggling with it. That's not a favorable thing for business owners to drive 1 hour, 2 hours on Mass Pike and go back and take the plane back again. That's one. We know that the property taxes has always been a fight, or rather a discussion on it between the city councilors. And I, being a person of the Chamber of Commerce and the chair of the board, I think we're trying to see how we can make it business owner friendly for them to have the commercial property here and pay a little lesser tax as compared to the residential tax. So there are certain things that probably needs to be still worked out so that this place could be more business owner friendly. It is good for people to come in here because I think a lot of costs are lesser than Boston, than you go to New York or different other big cities. But it's a wonderful place because it's very close to all these big cities that you can live here and go to big cities, get the job done, but probably less expensive to live here. It's a unique place where we have so many colleges. Education, if you want to give to your children, it's very nice for business owners to see, is this a place for my family to be? Absolutely. I think we have so many different ethnicity, different richness, and they're all exhibited in different places. Like we have Mechanics Hall, which is an iconic place and making the community so rich when people from different walks of life come in here, present their ethnicity, their traditions. So I think it's a great city to be in. For business owners, in my opinion, I think we need to do some more work to make it really more friendly, more appealing for business owners to come here and stay.
I was talking several months ago back to Secretary Howe and a couple of members of her staff. We were at a conference at Hanscom Air Force Base, and I took a couple of students with me, and we were talking about the changes in Massachusetts, and the age group 25 to 45 is one of the largest groups that's leaving the state. And a lot of immigrants have come in and are replacing that, but are starting that with entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But when we look, and you mentioned the universities here in Worcester, we have 7 good universities that are well known. Talking with her, they have, and the problem gets magnified as you get towards Boston, but she referred to it as the brain drain. And I know that we at Clark University, we have a challenge with keeping a lot of our grad students, because many of them are international students and they come from all over the world. I teach, and the class that I'm teaching has 18 students in it. Of those 18 students, it represents 11 different countries. So it gives you an example of that. But Secretary Howe is talking about, we have this thing called the brain drain. WPI, I'm sure that the problem is there as well. But when we lose that kind of talent and when there's such need for talent and help and just knowledge, I would really like to look at that as a problem to solve as well as entrepreneurship.
I absolutely agree. Many students from abroad who come here with a mindset that someday I want to go back to my country. That because of the family need, because of the ties that they have. But those who are born and brought up here, if they are all educated in the city of Worcester, in the Clark or WPI, I would like to see that we inspire them, to be here, to help our own city, use their knowledge that they have gained in the institutions here, use it to make our city to be one of the best in the country. So I think that should be somehow, the leadership should be there to see that their students think of this city more importantly more closely to them than going different places. So many things probably need to be done to keep them here as well. We have to see that why are they going. So once we find out the issues, the problems, or the difficulties, what they think is the reason that they are not here, we know that they have homecoming that they do here in Worcester, trying to get all those students who graduated from here, high school or colleges, to see if they can bring them back here and show what Worcester is today. Certainly, Worcester is not the same. When I came here in 1982, that Worcester, and now in 2024, the Worcester is so different. I mean, having the Polar Park here is a fantastic addition to this community, economically and otherwise also. It's brought a real place for us to get together with the family, and I really think that has been a great addition. And our credit goes to all the business owners, the leaders of the city who made it happen, bring this entire POSOX from Providence to here, and that has made a big difference. So things like that probably need to be done. You see the downtown now in the evening at the weekends, you don't find a place to park anymore. When we came here in 82, downtown used to be like dead. There wasn't anything. The first thing that I know that at the time when the Centrum was inaugurated, Frank Sinatra came in to do the opening. I still remember that.
Frank Sinatra played in Worcester.
Yeah, that was the first time when the Worcester Centrum was inaugurated. But the place was there was not much downtown restaurants, the people not coming there. It was like a dead downtown. But if you look at now in the evening, it's just the rooftop is all full of young students, and it looks like there is some kind of vibrating phenomena in the city. So I like that.
Yeah, I've read before that a lot of people call that the Renaissance of Worcester.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask a question from that perspective. I know that there is a lot of interest and a lot of people want that renaissance to happen. But from your perspective, and I'm just going to sort of set the backdrop for this, you're on the board of directors for a couple of universities. You were the chairman of the board for the Worcester Chamber of Commerce. You've got a pretty incredible story for coming here with nothing and building a business and having success. So we have students at the universities. We mix them with a lot of immigrant entrepreneurs that come here. And we have that concept of the American dream. And what advice would you give both sides of that equation? Because what I've seen is when you put them together, there's some incredible synergy that happens for commerce.
Good question. As I said, that I came here as a scientist. We were conversing before. I was in medical school, then I came here to this pharmaceutical company called EG&G Mason Research Institute, and now I'm a tax consultant, investment advisor, wealth management person in town for the last 34 years. So there has been another change in my life from scientist to this field. And again, the concept of destiny. That's not my plan. I never thought I would be a tax consultant, investment advisor. I love science, so I continued to do that. But things changed. In my life, there came a family priest we call the guru, and I was learning tax and finance and investments just for my knowledge's sake. Just because when I came here, all my different friends started enticing me to join and do investments and everything. I said, well, I got to learn this. I went to Worcester State College at that time to take evening courses and tried to learn and educate myself with the tax and everything. But I liked it so much that I continued to take the maximum level of courses. And then one my family priest came and told me that since you have learned this, I want you to change your profession, quit science, do this. And it was pretty much overnight. We could never say no to him. We trusted him so much. And I thought that if he is throwing me in a ditch, maybe there is gold. My boys were at that time very young. I'm talking about 1990 when he told me this. And I went to my company's CEO and I told him, this is what my guru is requesting me or instructing me to do. No hard feelings. I have to leave and I got to give it a try. But I had no background of business. I had nothing, but it was the destiny. I moved. But when I took that job, I thought I'm going to give it my full effort because it has come on my way. I'm not going to. My wife was very supportive. I could never do if she would not be there with me. And that's one thing in the business. I think you got to have a partner who supports you, understands your philosophy, your vision, your mission. And my wife was absolutely on my, he gave, always there to back me up. And that helped me a lot. And our children were young at that time. So I became a tax consultant, investment advisor for the last 34 years. But I dreamed that someday I want to be a part of this city. And now that I have the business, I started connecting with people. And that's why I wrote this book, 5 C's. One of the number 1 C is connect. Go and meet there. Even if I didn't know anybody, I was there. It's just like the Nike says, be there. So I went there, I met everyone as much as possible, started letting them know that I have a value. I think we all have a value, but people have to know that. And they started asking me to be a part of them, become a board member, become a director of this, the trustee of that.
Become part of that community.
Become part of the community. And I wanted to do that because I thought, if I'm going to be doing a business here, I got to be a part of this community. And I think dream is a desire. I break it down, DREAM. Is dream, the D stands for desire, and R stands for resilience. No matter what happens, no matter who stops you, you got to be resilient that I want to move forward. And then you got to bring your excellence, E for excellence, out of you, the best you can do, and have an ambition, A. That's ambition, and M stands for mindset. So I put it all together. I have my desire. I became resilient no matter who says. I moved forward. I had an ambition. I had a mindset. And I brought the excellence out of me to put it together. And my wife was really the real force behind me to support me all the way. And I think that gave me wherever I am today. And my ambition, as I was telling you, Dr. Herald, that one thing I achieved, I just think of doing something else. I've been being the Chamber of Commerce board chair. I never could think that, I'm coming from my childhood, the way it was, growing under the adverse conditions. My dad always used to tell me that when you grow up, try to be a business owner, try to be an entrepreneur, because they are the one who make most money. They are the successful people. He would show me a different group in India who are all business owners. And he'll say, be like them. And I said, well, I was an academician. I came here to be a scientist. But then things change. The destiny brought me to this level. And maybe my dad's blessings moved me to become the entrepreneur. I think he's watching me today. And then I thought that, as I had in my mind, that if I become successful, if I have more than what I need, that extra goes to people who needs it the most. And that has become our life's philosophy. And I'm very
paying it forward concept.
Absolutely. My wife has been very supportive of that, by both sons. And then we created this Joy Guru Humanitarian Services to achieve that goal. And now we, do the best we can for the community. I only need so much, we live simple life, but fortunately I make more than what I need. And I think that God has given me that extra thinking. I have the wisdom to put it in the right place. And we don't want to keep it for us. I think that's not ours. I like to make as much as possible. I'm very ambitious. I said I should make as much money as I can because I have the ability, I have the intelligence, I have the desire, but I don't need it. I make it for others. And there are so many unfortunate, less fortunate people out there who don't have the ability to make it by whatever reason. But I think we have to stand next to them and lift them up. And that's the philosophy of life.
Many of our clients and our students that would be listening to this are going to look at that and they want to be at your position in life someday. And you were talking about your book and the first C being connect. What's the second? For helping them get to be in that position and hopefully stay longer in Central Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think in my book, I have said 5 C's. The first is the connect. Second is the communication. Always communicate with people. If my client calls me, the market is down, before they call, I'll call them. So make sure that they know that I'm not hiding under the table when the market is down. I communicate with them. In my office, there is a rule.
In good times and bad, right?
Yeah, good time and bad. But bad times is when they want to know. And I know my clients who will be more worried. And I'll call him or her saying, I'm on the top of it. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. If somebody sends some tax documents or check for investment, my secretary knows that she has to call them that we have received it. Dr. Mitra will call you if there is a question. My point is that we got to call them and let them know we got it before they call us. That's a rule in my office. So communicate is very important. Be creative, be something different. I said, that if you are going to be the same as someone else next door to you, I always wanted to see how I am different, why people will come to me. I mean, there are so many accountants, tax consultants in city. Why would they come to me? I got to have something different in me. And if I don't have that, my apple has to be better than everybody else's for them to come to me. So I created a lot of things in my office which are different. And I found those out when I visited many other accountants' office. I did not pay attention to what they were doing so much, but I was trying to find out what they are not doing that I can incorporate in my office.
That's
so
great
in my
advice.
office, for example, in winter time, if you come to my office from, say, Natick or some other places, Newton, and visited me and it's snowing, sleet, and all that, my secretary will call you after an hour that Dr. Mitra wants to know, have you reached home safe? Now, who does that? That's a different kind of attention that we're paying to our clients, that you are not only our clients, but we have a personal touch to that. So we be creative, we do different things. And I serve my clients round the year. I said, you can come to me. If you're my client, round the year, my door is open. You can call me with questions. I never charge them again because that's what I'm there for, as an advisor. And then, connect, communicate, create, be confident. You got to know what you are talking about, your subject. I read a lot. I do research. I'm always ready. I go to radio every Monday with Hank Stoltz to answer all the tax questions. You got to be ready to answer all those. He receives all the questions and he throws it on me and I give the answer. So you got to be confident. When you have confidence, your clients feel confident too that, oh, this guy knows everything about. And then last but not the least is contribute, give back. If you have any extra with you, I think that find a place where you think that money should go to, who should be helped. So we have this humanitarian services. That's our goal, to help in every way. City calls, mayor calls, anybody calls saying, we need this. Afghani refugees came in. We donated $50,000 to help support the city. We had, there was a flood in the Pleasant Street, a building, Elm Tower, where the elderly people lived. The city subsidized them, and they were all had to be displaced and moved from there because the flood happened. Pipe broke. Eric Batista, our manager, called me saying, Dr. Mitra, can your foundation help us? We need to provide food and everything. We gave them $25,000 to the Worcester Housing Authority. So we're there for any humanitarian help that we need. We're not huge, but I have a vision that I can be as big as Bill Gates. I say to everybody, don't think that your company is small. Think you're IBM.
Let's talk about that for a moment. Is how important is vision to an entrepreneur, to a business owner?
Absolutely important. I mean, if you don't have a vision, that's the dream. The vision is what you want your company to be. And if you don't have that written down and jotted down, you don't have a plan. So vision is the most important thing, that I want ultimately to reach this, to be this. And that's what makes me move. When I started, I had a different vision. And as I became successful, I started getting clients. Today, we have clients in 26, 27 states. I didn't go and advertise there, but my clients moved out of here and they are now in Alaska, California, different places. They recommend others. I got a call the other day, yesterday, I was talking to a doctor from Florida. I don't know them. And they said that, we got your name from Eric and Jasmine. So who is Eric and Jasmine? So they had a restaurant on your 4th floor in your tower, in your building. And there was a restaurant on the 4th floor of our building.
A while ago.
And Eric was the owner of it. So Eric has now apparently moved to Florida. I didn't know. It's that he told me, and this doctor was doing his residency in UMass. So now he's gone to Florida. Eric probably happened to be his patient. And he said, I'm really looking I have a lot of things in my taxes. And he said, why don't you call him? Because I know so, people...
The reputation precedes you, and I talk about brand all the time.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to your brand starting 40 years ago. And looking at that scenario. But back to vision, one of the best vision speeches that I've listened to in my life is Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. I like to use that as an example. And what a lot of people don't know is he spoke that impromptu from his heart. Mm-hmm. And it says, I have a dream that's deeply rooted in the American dream.
Absolutely.
Now, if we go back for you, when you came here, you weren't planning on staying in the United States.
Not at all.
Your path left you here, but here you are young and you were full of a vision then. And listening to you now, your dreaming then and your vision then compared to today, would you say you dream is just as much today as then?
Yes, I think I have a different dream now in my mindset, because I want to see how I can. Now that I have reached at this level, I have sort of people know me in this community. I want to do more. I want to do more of the philanthropy, more helping the different causes, more giving opportunity for students who are underprivileged to achieve their goals in life. I want to get involved more with the city. I want to make this city a happy city, a better city, in whichever way I can. So that's my next goal, that how I can make, since I am here for the last 42 years, stayed here. Worcester has become my home. This is where my both boys were born. This is where we started. Our first house was purchased. This is where the business started. This is where my wife and I started our life, really. So I think we need to give back more, and my wife is totally in agreement with that. So we'll see the opportunities that might come to fulfill my next dream, to see how I can really get involved more to the city and help the city to become a better and happy city.
Well, Dr. Mitra, I have to say thank you. I mean, it's been wonderful talking to you today, and the experience that you give us, and there's a phrase that people don't really care what you know until they know that you care. You spend 5 minutes with you, I know that you care about people. And you can see that when you speak in a small audience or a one-on-one like we're doing right now.
Well, I think, people like to see that what's the purpose that I'm here on this earth, on this universe. And I have always questioned myself that what's the purpose that I'm here?
What is your purpose?
That's what I'm getting to. My mom passed away when I was 3. My brother is 14 years older to me. My sister is 12 years older to me. So I always kind of asked myself that I wasn't a planned child. Certainly, I just, was an accidental child here. But what's the purpose? There must be a reason. And then mom, who never leaves a younger, tender age, a baby, left me. And why? So I think, somebody had told me in my family that your mom has been in a big hospital in heaven where she will be cured, and one day she'll come back in a plane. So I used to run to the courtyard anytime a plane goes over our house, thinking the plane will land and my mom will get out of the deplane from the plane. But it never happened. They always thought that he will understand the reality as he grows up, and I did. But one day I think my mom landed. I say this to every place I go and speak, that my mom landed. She landed right in my heart and whispered in my ears that, son, I left you behind because I wanted to help people a lot. But I had an excruciating pain in my brain because she died of brain meningitis. And I couldn't, but God took me in his lap to give me relief. But I left you behind to complete that job. So I found my purpose, to serve people, to help others. If I can die helping others, that'll be a happy death to me.
Well, I think she's smiling down on you right now today.
Hope so, yeah. And I think her blessing is always there. I always think my mom and dad are always there. This is the only picture that my mom had ever taken. And I extracted that from a group. And I always keep this with me, thinking, Mom, you're with me.
She was so young there.
She's 32 years when she passed away. So, and that's my dad, who was very religious and very disciplined person. So we got a good foundation from both of them. And now I think we should see that how we can use that foundation no matter where we stay in the world. And hopefully our children will carry that mission as well.
Well, sir, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I hope it helps others if they listen. And if there's any other question anyone has, any more thing that you would like to do, I'll be very happy to be a part of it.
We're very blessed. Thank you.